What's up, Destined Ones? It's the Cause, and this is my Take Control of the Fight boss guide for Yellowbrow. As I found the second time you face him to be more difficult, I'll be focusing only on that section of this epic saga of a fight. Before we get started, I'm trying to build a community of gamers around this channel who want to play good and do good. So, half of anything I ever make on YouTube goes to a charity we choose every few months. I upload receipts and everything, so do us all a favor. Use one of those light attack combos to hit the like button and drop a charged attack on that subscribe button. I appreciate it, and only do it if this video does anything for you. Let's get into it. Make sure to watch this whole video. Before you know it, you'll be sending this guy and his false sense of superiority that certainly stems from his deep-seated guilt and... Damn, I gotta work on my trash talk. Sorry, y'all. So talking video logistics, we'll be making 3 stops on this no stone left unturned guide. The first part is the attack strategy and build tips. Second is every one of his moves, how to defend them, show where the vulnerability windows are, and how best to dispense our punishment during those windows. And the third part is a full playthrough of my victorious battle with the Yaoguai King that includes commentary as well. Alright, first stop, let's talk attack strategy and build tips. So, our first strategy I call the monkey brain strategy because we play as a monkey, A, and this should always be in our brain, B, because it is the foundational strategy the Path of Destiny requires us to use. Find vulnerability windows, use light attacks and staff spin to build your focus meter and deploy focus enhanced attacks with enthusiasm for big damage. Rinse and repeat with some spells, and the Yaoguai Kings go toppling. Next is keep your composure. This strategy is called keep your composure because composure is a clutch skill in your skill tree that works great on bosses like Yellowbrow that take big swipes and have some predictable patterns. I'll talk more about specific skills later in the video, but the goal here is to start light attack combos, dodge an attack in the middle of your combo, and finish the combo strong. Next, Yellowbrow likes to hear himself talk, and our next strategy can check him on his mansplaining. I call it shut him up. In phases 1 and 2, when you see him vanish, get ready for a lecture and start charging that staff to unload some big damage, zipping and zapping that yabbing Yaoguai King until he's dirt napping, baby. Ooh, that was fun. In fact, first thing on your kicking ass and taking names checklist is land a charged attack right outside of the gate. Booyah, Grandpa. Next strategy is nothing but oldies and goldies. This is all about how to crack Yellowbrow's thin golden shine with our destiny-fueled monkey might. In each phase, Yellowbrow can turn himself into gold, and you will learn quickly any old attack just won't do. So, what is a monkey to do then? Option 1, a wandering white spirit will break his spirit and give you a nice vulnerability window. A filled focus meter charged attack will drain his battery, and oh look, another golden opportunity of a vulnerability window. Sometimes it takes more than one of these high-powered attacks to break him, so you can add in a cloud step as a third option. My last strategy takes us on a journey to Preparation Station, where we will look at some skills and spell options that can give you the upper hand, and as we make our way to our destination, I'm going to offer 2 nuggets of guidance, and number 1 is, yeah, I don't think this part matters too much. I mean, it does and it doesn't. I know a lot of people want this, and I want to offer what I can. Generally, I would say use the build-out that's been working for you, and don't get too stuck on what others tell you your build-out should be. If you use this guide to find vulnerability windows and press attack buttons during them, you can win this fight. Nugget 2 is, yeah, this is a long boss fight, and whatever you enter into the arena with for spells and skills, that's what you're going to have for the duration. It kind of includes 2 different boss fights and 2 different, like, full-blown different phases of Yellowbrow. So let's make sure that you're set with what you need before you even walk through those doors. To that end, let's talk about spirits. My first build tip is to use Wandering White as your spirit. As I said, it is a direct path to breaking his flaky golden crust, but it also comes in clutch for a 3rd phase attack, giving people headaches, I know, so yeah, you're gonna just have to keep watching for that tidbit. For skill trees, we're going to start in Foundation, and my general approach here is to focus on the martial arts tree and the stamina tree. For survival, focus on stamina, I would say. We'll be spending a lot of time using charged attacks, so all of this will help with that. Now, Composure is a really important skill, as this is what allows you to start a light attack combo, dodge one of his slow-ass attacks, and then complete the combo. It really is a perfect skill for Yellowbrow. And to make sure your light attack combos have maximum damage output, be sure to have Punishing Downpour too. This will add extra area damage to your combo finisher, and we'll be completing a lot of light attack combos, my friends, so this helps with that. Focus spinning is another essential skill I recommend because it's a key component of that monkey brain attack strategy I outlined before. There is simply no more efficient way to build focus than using and implementing this skill. For our stances, you can see I've just focused on Smash Stance, and that served me well here, and honestly up to this point. Skills like Instinct, Quick Hand, and Force Unbound will get you charged up for big attacks faster while using less stamina, and of course allow you to charge while sprinting, which is clutch, as you'll see in the next section. And of course, I always recommend Resolute Counterflow. It's a big attack with a parry-like function, so I'm still working on the timing of it, but when it works, baby. For Curios, I use Back Scratcher because it increases stamina, which is your best friend on this journey towards Destiny. I recommend using Thunderstone if you have it, as it will help with Yellowbrow's preference for Shock and Awe. Tiger Tally can also be helpful for this fight because of all of the light attack combos we're laying down. This Curio gives attack buffs after successful light attack combos, giving us permission to stay aggressive. Now for armor, I use the Gale Guard because, yeah, that's what I always use. I love it. It's my special place. But I would also recommend an upgraded version of the Luong Scale outfit, which massively reduces how long you're in a shock state. Good for Yellowbrow and his Shock and Awe. Spells and transformations are interesting. So for Mysticism, I used Immobilize, but you should only use it while he is staggered or down. Otherwise, it makes him instantly turn gold. Given his ability to limit the effectiveness of spells, Spellbinder could also be a good option with all the standard attacks that we're going to be doing. For Strand, I use Pluck of Many because it's all I have, but it's no good. He will go all Pagoda Realm on you and turn your clones against you. For the transformation, I had Hoarfrost equipped because I didn't go to Preparation Station, but didn't rely on it too much. I think the Yin Tiger Eben Flow transformation could be really effective if you could get it off in Phase 1 or Phase 2. For consumables, I would recommend Tiger Subduing to boost damage, Amplification Pellets to get your critical hits more abundantly, and Shock Quelling Powder for all the shocking things you're going to be witnessing. Our next section is building the book on Yellowbrow, looking at all of his moves, how to defend them, and how to punish him during vulnerability windows of our making. Now, our first part here looks at foundational attacks that you could see in any phase. Then I'll talk about unique moves you might see in Phase 2 and 3. So the first attack we'll look at, I call the Shock Herd Round the World, because it starts with the twirling above head wind up before a big earth-splitting slam on the ground. Even though it's a big wind up, he'll follow and sort of track you while you run around, so make sure to be sprinting in a circle around him all the way through the attack, and then look for a vulnerability window right after the slam. Note that the crack in the ground will do damage when you walk on it too. Annoying. Our next move is the Electric Slide, because he's dancing. He's got his dancing shoes on. It's one stomp, sometimes two stomps. It typically comes right after another move, and all you've really got to do is dodge here. And in fact, this is a pretty perfect opportunity to work on your Composure combos, where you start a combo, plenty of wind up for you to dodge and get out of the way. Another one comes, you combo in between all of it, and use that Composure skill to land a big attack at the end. Next is my Monkey Magical combination. This is what I'm going to start calling the move or combo in every boss fight that I sort of like love and look out for, because I can get the timing. There's plenty of room for me to land a lot of attacks. Like, every boss has a monkey magical combo, and for Yellowbrow, it's this straight ahead sort of darting with his electrical sphere. It's a slam down, it's a rewind up, and another slam down. So it's a three-phased attack. It's really easy to spot, predict, and get the timing of. There are delays before each strike, like wind up for each strike. That's relatively substantial. So you do need to practice the timing, but you can get some good perfect dodges in here and plenty of damage in. The next move is Lightning Strikes Twice. It's the way he starts phase 2 pretty much every time. It's this sort of sliding, swiping of his sphere along the ground that sends a shockwave that sort of is a homing missile towards you. Just dodge when it gets next to you. You can also sprint and you'll be fine. The thing to note with the Lightning Strikes Twice attack is that there's no vulnerability window. He gets another attack going almost instantly, and it can be tempting to feel like you can charge up to him after it and get a couple licks in, but you really can't. He just starts another attack pretty much right away. On to the next attack move, which is Lightning Strikes like a million times. It's another sort of overhead wind-up attack that he does, or this is actually the first of two, where he's sort of holding his staff sphere thing above his head, building some energy, and then sending it down. So this one is just straightforward lightning attacks. It's not quite random. It sort of concentrates around you and where it thinks you're going to go. What I found is the best thing to do to defend on this is to sprint and get a charged attack going and just keep running in a relative circle and then unload that charged attack. It's very satisfying. Next is Starburst, my bubble, the next sort of overhead twirling attack that I put Starburst my bubble because, yeah, it was annoying. I felt like I knew, like, when the circle comes down, I just need to jump out of it, no big deal. But I could never dodge these little Starbursts. They always seem to get me. But of course, you know, I would get the timing. It's not impossible. It's just kind of, yeah, practicing and getting the timing right. But it's just 2 rolls. Jump out of the circle and it's 2 rolls. No vulnerability window really after. Moving on to phase 2, what I can tell you is I don't have a lot to tell you. It's a lot like phase 1, almost identical as far as I can tell. Every combo I saw in phase 2, I also saw in phase 1 sometimes. For the most part, I will offer a couple tips here and one combo that seemed to be different. So the first thing I want to start with is that Yellowbrow typically starts phase 2 with Lightning Strikes Twice. Just anticipate it. It comes pretty quick. Next is, I did kind of get the sense that in phase 2, he had more aggression, shorter vulnerability windows, or just more moves seemed to be coming. He was talking less. He seemed to have more range with his sort of sphere staff weapon, and that there was a larger AoE. So when he slams down his attacks, it seemed like the lightning on the ground sort of spread out further, but that's a bit of perception. I didn't look at it that closely. One combo that seemed to be unique to phase 2, or just used more in phase 2, I'm calling my Monkey Magical combination number 2 because it's a lot like the Monkey Magical combination number 1. This one involves, instead of sort of a straightforward push as the first move, it's like a big swipe. The next 2 moves are exactly the same. So you can see the first one here where he starts with a sort of straightforward stab almost, and then he does an overhead smash, and then another overhead smash. In Monkey Magical combination number 2, it's more of a swipe first, then a smash, then another smash. Whether it's combo 1 or combo 2, I was always looking out for this because it was easy to avoid. I could get my composure combos in between strikes or just dodge until he was done and get a little bit of a vulnerability window then. On to phase 3, where you're definitely going to see some new looks, and let's start with where he starts. So you're going to see 1 of 2 moves. when you start phase 3. The one you might see is Shock Heard Around the World. We've already reviewed this. It's sort of this waving his staff over his head, and then a big sort of earth-shattering shock straight down, electricity coming from everywhere. But I want to highlight how it starts, because that's how we're going to differentiate it between this and the second attack that he starts with. So with this one, the glow is coming from his staff is raised over his head. That's a clear indicator to you that it's Shock Heard Around the World, and that you need to just start sprinting, not charge attacking, and dodge when his staff lands on the ground. The second move you're likely to see is your glowing. So this starts very differently, as you'll see, because the glowing isn't coming from his staff, and his staff isn't above his head. And when that's the case, he's glowing from within. That tells you you need to instantly start a charged attack or run at him. And I'll tell you how to defend it. But when you see it glowing from within, try and get your charged attack started, rocking, and then try and land that. Sometimes the timing can be a little tight. It helps if you have a couple focus bars already filled. But that's one way to stop that attack that has just a massive AoE. Of course, another way is to use your Wandering Wight, which is, if you've got one at this point. I found that if you use Wandering Wight early, you'll get another one by phase 3. All right, next move is called Tailspin. This is one of a few different moves where he sort of swipes along the ground. The important thing for this one is for Tailspin, there's just one swipe, and the swipe at the end, his tail will hit you. There is a different version of this move where he does multiple tail spins, so this one's called Tails Spins, and it's a 3-part combo. The first 2 moves, I'll slow it down here. The first move is just like the last move. It's a tail spin, and that ball comes around. It'll get you there and shock energy, and then he does the exact same thing, just the opposite direction. I can't believe I didn't get hit by that, but and then the third one, there's no like tail hit at the end. It's just a big old AoE swipe. So the best thing to do, I found, with that is to just get away. Like, try and get away from the attack and from the AoE, because even if you dodge the swipes, you're still likely taking a lot of electricity into you. Our next move is Energy Balls. It's kind of similar to Tail Spins, but there's no like little poke at the end. And the AoE is just way bigger. These are all huge swipes. He does 3, 4, 5 of them. And yeah, this is one of the hardest moves that he has. My tip for this is like stay aggressive, so you only have to cope with it once. What I would encourage you to do above all else is to get as far away from him as possible when you see these coming. And the windup is so big that you actually do have time to start sprinting and rolling. Just pay it some attention to where he's at with the ball. And even sometimes, and you also just want to be careful not to get trapped up against the wall, because that can totally happen when you're trying to escape. Alright, our last phase 3 move is the Monkey Magic combination number 3. Remember, these are the combos I look out for that are predictable enough, easy enough to dodge, and have a vulnerability window that I feel like I can exploit pretty consistently. So this move, like the other combos, the first one starts with a straightforward stab, and then a slam down, which is just like his other combos. This is only 2 parts, though. It's just when he picks up his electrical sphere, it sends these sort of lightning bolts down in what seems to be like a sort of somewhat tracks you, but all you need to do in this combo is keep rolling towards his backside, basically. Like, stay away from him, but just focus on getting to his backside, because that you'll avoid all of the damage, the straightforward attack, as well as the pound down, as well as the lightning strikes. Do that, and you should be able to get a full-on light attack combo in before his next move. So nice vulnerability window if you start attacking him even a little before now. Alright, those are all of Yellowbrow's moves that I can find. What did I miss, though? Hit me up in the comments and tell me if there's some moves I missed or ways you cope with some of his moves. But generally speaking, Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 1, stick to the plan we outlined in the beginning and Keep in mind that yes, Phase 3 is difficult, and yes, there are new looks that are challenging, but he also throws out the same old combos from Phase 1, sometimes that are more predictable, easier to exploit with nicer vulnerability windows. Alright, Destined Ones, let's now look at my full boss fight with commentary for Yellowbrow. Again, this is just the second time that you face him. The first time felt easy enough. Note that I am going to slow this down ever so slightly because it'll help us pick up on moves. Also know you should watch all of my other Yellowbrow videos up to this point because I'm going to be referencing some things you might not otherwise understand. So right away, as I recommend, get your charged attack going. Be ready to be sprinting around, but you should be able to get an easy, full charged attack. And he's going to start the fight off by being a blabbermouth, so it should be no problem at all to do that nice chunk of damage to get going. And then you can see I got a nice vulnerability window, and we're about to see the shock heard around the world. We know because his staff's above his head and he's spinning. We know when we see that, we just want to like sort of roll towards his backside. We get another little vulnerability window. And in Phase 1, it's just easier to use Immobilize, it seemed like. But generally speaking, it has to be kind of a time where he's like downed. And I use my Wandering White there because I know I'm going to need it in the third round. But I know if I'm aggressive enough, I will earn another Wandering White in the third round, which is the third phase, which is super important. And just like that, we're out of Phase 1. All it took were really, what was that, 3 or 4 attack sequences from us, and we're already in Phase 1. I highly recommend, if you're able, take as much life as you can in Phase 1 and Phase 2, because those are definitely the easier of the 3. The longer you're in Phase 3, the more likely you're going to die. You can see right there that Lightning Strikes Twice is almost always how he starts Phase 2. As soon as that second one goes by you, I get my charge attack going and I get him. There's his stomps. There's usually 1 or 2. It's a perfect combo to use or a perfect chance to use your Composure combo, where you can start a light attack combo, dodge, and then finish it. And so that was a mistake, right? It's Phase 2. I tried to immobilize him in the middle of a move. It turned him right into gold. But we know what to do when he turns into gold. We know we can use charged attacks. We can use a Wandering White. And we also know Cloud Strike helps. We also know when we break him from his gold, there is a prime, beautiful, the best vulnerability window he has to offer. He goes down to 1 knee. We do our Monkey Brain strategy, where when we have vulnerabilities, we build focus with Spinning Staff and light attacks, and then we deploy our supersized charged attacks, focused enhanced attacks when we get a chance. And that was Resolute Counterflow and Skyfall Strike, which I didn't need to do there. I probably could have finished it, finished the combo, and then did a charged attack. But that's Phase 2, and look at how little life he has. This is sort of when I knew this was going to be the one that I was going to get him. Just because I knew I'd get him when I took a ton of life in Phase 1 and Phase 2. And the immobilizing helps, and of course, when you can break him from his gold and get that vulnerability, when you're going to do a ton of damage. So we know there are 2 ways that he might start Phase 3. And this is Inner Energy, at least I think that's what I call it. And as soon as we see that might be what he does, we want to either get our charge attack going instantly, or just run up to him and use our Wandering White. And we were able to get a second one. I think, yeah, I just tried to mobilize again and turn him to gold. Like, I'm not making this any easier on myself. Like, don't use Immobilize unless he is downed. Like, fully downed after you break him from being gold. That seems to be the only time that will work, but I still have a Cloud Strike left, which I used. I don't even think I used my transformation in this, honestly. But he's still gold, so I know now that I pretty much have to use a charged attack. But he's going into his energy balls now, and when we see this attack, we know we just want to get as far away from him as possible, and then get closer after his final attack. And there tends to be a lot of swipes, so just wait for that window. And so here I am, and here's the Million Strikes of Lightning, which is just kind of sprint around, and while you're sprinting, get your charged attack going. And lay it on thick, and that breaks him from the gold I put him in for my transformation. That starburst gets me every damn time. But this is the vulnerability window. This is what wins me the fight. So immobilize hurts, but when you get him out of gold, it does give you really nice vulnerability windows. And I'm just doing light attack combo after light attack combo. He got me with that. That took a lot of I took a lot of damage there. But yeah, you can just see there's so many places where he's just kind of standing around and you can lay it on thick. His combos aren't brutally tough, and you got this. You absolutely got this. Let me know what else you're struggling with, what you're needing in the comments. As always, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care of yourself. Take care of each other, and I will see you next time.